Voice group Rosa is starting a 3-day bus tour of the country this morning, during which they will distribute abortion pills at colleges and city centres. However, a pro-life group has announced its own tour to counter that, and it will be visiting the same locations to protest the bus for repeal. This is happening over the coming days. Our reporter Richard Chambers is at UCD, where both buses have been setting off this morning. Richard, good morning.
Good morning to you, Pat.
Now, what's the story behind the bus tours?
Yeah, it's been a very busy morning. A lot of interest in these buses here this morning at UCD, Pat. A lot of students being handed pro-choice and pro-life pamphlets, having to step around some very graphic imagery held up by members of the Irish Centre of Bioethical Reform at the ICBR, the pro-life group. So a very busy morning since they started this protest and counter-protest at about 8:30 this morning. So this all started, Pat, with the announcement of the Strike for Repeal and March for Repeal, which is going to be happening in Dublin on Wednesday. So the Rosa campaign announced this tour bus, which is going to be going across the country over the next 2 days. It stops across Ireland. So what they're going to be doing is they're going to be holding online consultations in the buses for women with crisis pregnancy with doctors in the Netherlands who are going to then send the pills on to women here in Ireland. So Rita Harold of Rosa and Bus for Repeal explained how the whole process works.
Today we're leaving UCD, we're travelling to Waterford and Cork. Tomorrow we're going to go to Limerick and Galway, and on Wednesday we're going to go to Maynooth on the way back to Dublin for a rally at 3 p.m. at Central Bank. We are calling for an immediate referendum to repeal the 8th Amendment, and we are making it clear that when we say repeal, we do not mean replace. We mean legalise abortion, let women choose for themselves. In addition to the 10 women a day who are travelling to the UK to access legal abortions, there are also 3 women ordering pills from womenonweb.org. We work with Women on Web, and we want to ensure that any woman who needs an abortion is able to access one, is able to access a safe medical abortion using these pills.
So you have abortion pills with you on the bus?
We don't have them with us because it's important that people do the consultation. There are very few contraindications actually for these medicines. They're extremely safe, but it's important. We're not doctors. It's important that people do talk to the doctors through the website. It's unfortunate that women aren't able to go to their own GP. Women have to talk to a doctor through the internet, but this telemedical service is providing a vital lifeline to women who can't afford the €1,000, or if people heard the story of Jennifer, a woman who had a fatal fetal abnormality on the Pat Kenny show the other night, €3,000 because her procedure was more complicated.
These sort of pills are very well regulated in the countries in which they are legal. A sort of a Skype sort of online consultation. I mean, is that really safe?
It absolutely is fully safe. Dr. Rebecca Gompertz established Women on Web to ensure that women have access to safe abortions as opposed to dangerous illegal abortion methods that were the reality in the past, for example, before the 1967 Abortion Act in the UK. So the consultation is on the website. It's an extremely detailed form, essentially. In the same way that if you go to a doctor face-to-face, they ask you your medical history, you tell them your medical history. For example, no, I do not have a history of brain aneurysms or problems. They don't put you in an MRI to verify that. They take your word of your medical history. It's sent through the post. We do have difficulties because Irish Customs seizes the packages. So essentially they come through Northern Ireland, where abortion is still illegal, but Customs less frequently seize the packages.
So has there been any trouble so far?
Yeah, some pointed discussions, Pat, but nothing really more than that. The volunteers are expecting to be met with more counter-protest or resistance, as they call it, along the way. They probably didn't bank on being matched all the way by the ICBR, which is running its own bus campaign. As we said, it's going to follow them at literally every single stop along the next couple of days. So it's worth watching as the week goes on to see what level of protests actually do happen. There's a lot of media interest in this as well, Pat, even from around the world. Some video journalists are here from online news services in the UK, and they're watching all of this unfold on the Stillorgan flyover with a lot of intrigue. They did at one point, actually, Pat, get very engrossed in one particular debate between one member of ICBR, Christian Hecking, as he spoke with some of the young women taking part.
The junior cert definition of life would be living, moving, excreting, growing. Living is a tree is living. A piece of what has that got to do with it?
Do you eat animals? They're living too.
Yes, they are.
What's your argument?
So but that's fine. That approved. We're keeping it on one point here, which is what is living.
This is
surely.
academic research on the number of
But you're saying it's not living. You sure you want to hold that scientifically?
I'm not a scientist.
Okay, you're not a scientist, but you just said that the number one child is not living. Are you sure you want to hold that in front of everyone? Everyone's saying here.
Abortion is a reality, whether you disagree with it or not, and that's your position, and that's fine. Don't have an abortion if you don't want one. We're going to hop back on the bus, guys.
This gives me a great sense of deja vu, those debates for the various amendments over the years, and it was thought that this one might be more civilised and might not turn strident and nasty. I have no such expectation, I have to say. So, on the pro-life side, what are they actually doing? This kind of marking the repeal bus stop by stop.
Yeah, so we've already seen how this is going to work over the next couple of days, Pat. It's going to be literally stop by stop. So they left just 5 minutes after Bus for Repeal, when they left at about 9:30, I think. About 10 volunteers with the pro-life bus, a full bus for the Bus for Repeal. A lot of students, though, Pat, are very uneasy. And as you say, I mean, we sort of thought that this one might be a more sort of reasoned debate, but it's already been quite a nasty edge to it. A lot of students very uneasy at the 4-foot by 6-foot banners of very graphic abortion imagery held up by the counter-protest. Now, Christian Hecking was one of the most visible of those protesters. You heard him there in that last clip. I asked him if that graphic imagery would actually put people off engaging with the discussion.
I think the images are nasty. I think they're very hard to look at, and I think that's because abortion is nasty. It's a horrific procedure. Tactics, our strategy in presenting graphic images stems from the study of many other civil rights movements, including the abolition of the slave trade, famously used many graphic images to humanise the slave.
What's going on here?
Likewise, the civil rights movement.
Good, thanks. What's going on?
Men and women being beaten up, bleeding, screaming, so that the world will know that the black is a human being of equal rights.
Why is that such a bad idea?
We do the same thing. We use images to not to shock or to harm, but to show people that it is a human being that is being killed at the end of every abortion.
The issue here in Ireland is that a medical emergency or fatal fetal abnormalities as well.
Is this just a woman's issue? Why not?
To engage on.
Yeah, I would say wake up and smell the coffee. All those things, fatal fetal abnormality, extreme cases, that's the thin end of the wedge. There's a clear agenda, which is to make abortion on demand for all women at any time, for any reason. These other things, they're mirages. It's a cloak and knife. It's a cloak and knife affair. I'm prepared to discuss extreme cases under their own, but we need to wake up and realise that people are pushing for full legalisation.
Do you think that this sort of debates, or Bus for Repeal, and you guys following on as well, do you think it's going to turn people off it? I mean, people are sort of at this level of very public discussion or debate. It might put people off engaging with the issue.
Again, you've just given me another catch-22, like the one you mentioned earlier. We're human beings who've always operated in the public sphere, whether the public be on Facebook or on the streets. Any civil rights movement comes with one conversation at a time, one changed mind at a time, 1 inch at a time.
Okay, so that's a man called Christian Hecking who was talking with Richard there. Have the buses departed, Richard?
They have indeed, yeah. So they're en route now. They left about 9:30 this morning. They're en route to, I think, Waterford IT is the first stop today, and then they're arriving into Cork City at about 5 o'clock this evening before doing a campus tour in UCC tomorrow morning, then Limerick, Galway before NUIG tomorrow evening. And then when they're coming back on Wednesday, they're stopping off in Newt and then Dame Street for that major protest, which is going to be taking place outside the Central Bank on Dame Street.
So the battle of the buses commences. Richard Chambers, thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad.
The Pat Kenny Show on NewsTalk.